Hobby Quick Hits. A sports card podcast where we tackle the hobby's hottest topics in depth to help you navigate the sports card landscape and enjoy the hobby we all love. Here's your host, John Newman.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Hobby Quick Hits. This will be probably a shorter episode. We're going to dive into the vintage football market, if you will. And when you think vintage football, it's not as far back as you think. I mean, we're talking, all eras, but today. But I mean, football careers are so short that I think vintage era in football is actually not as far back as baseball. And, we see what the current market's doing in modern cards, very, very strong. And same thing in vintage. But I think there's more opportunities on the vintage end to get some great deals. Whether you're getting them to flip, whether you're getting them to for your personal collection. I think either way, there's some great opportunities, probably more on the vintage end than in the modern end. And it's something in the last couple months, not just football either, that I've really focused on vintage sports, and including even boxing cards. I've added a bunch of vintage boxing, and it's being an old guy like me, I remember some of those guys where some of the younger guys might not, and just know, hey, I know that's a Hall of Famer, but I never saw him play. I actually seen him play. I don't know if that's good or bad, or I'm just dating myself or how old I am. But it's a great opportunity. That market's a great opportunity to still get some really good deals. I think, especially in football side, I think a lot of cards are more undervalued football-wise than in its hobby counterparts, baseball, basketball. Even hockey, we've seen a crazy growth, especially on graded Hall of Fame rookie cards. So I'm going to kind of go through and just mention guys, that are maybe the market is still there to get some deals, and then others maybe not so much. But a guy, a legend, very short career, kind of retired with a lot more tread on his tire. Got kind of sick of losing in Detroit, and Barry Sanders. And I know his stuff's not necessarily cheap, especially his autograph stuff. But when you look at how he's viewed, not just in the hobby, but just in the sport, as one of the all-time greatest backs. Some will argue he is the greatest back, and that's high praise. His rookie cards, are still very affordable in relation to some others, and it's a guy I try to look for when I can, and the 89 score probably being his, biggest rookie card. And that's the other thing, with football too, is there were less card brands compared to baseball, even in the 80s and 90s. And so the rookie cards, there's less decision making, if you will. For each guy we talk about, everyone knows the key rookie. In other sports, it becomes an ongoing debate. No one will argue really that the 89 score Barry Sanders is his rookie to get, And so Barry Sanders is one of the tops on my list. The next one I'm going to mention is a guy that I got to know. We lost him this year here in 2021. Great individual. I got to know him a little bit on a personal level. He was a Syracuse legend, an NFL Hall of Famer, and coaching high school football locally. I got to, we would practice on the campus of Syracuse. He would come and talk to our team every year that I was there, and very generous with his time. I got to know him from being a season ticket holder and attending a lot of season ticket holder events, and he'd walk around the room where you could come up to him. And I was shocked the first time I met Floyd Little. I was shocked at how down to earth. Here he is, an NFL Hall of Famer, a legend. I was shocked how much time he gave me. What we talked about was like talking to someone I went to high school with. There was no arrogance about him, and all the time I got to talk to him and know him. That was who he was. And so this pick's a little bit of a homer pick, but his cards are still severely undervalued for being a legend. And even his autos now, which I own quite a bit. And here's a crazy side note. For as many times as I met him in person, I never asked for an in-person auto. I just thought, I didn't want to be that guy, so to speak. I'm not going to say the thought didn't cross my mind, but I had already some, card autos of them out of releases, Upper Deck and those type of things. So I didn't really feel a super need to do that. Didn't want to be a fanboy, and I've got quite a bit of those autographed cards, those certified autographed cards. They're still relatively underpriced for, him not being here anymore. You can get them anywhere from $20 to $50, and depending on you got limited amount, limited numbers or single digit. But the normal signature cards you can get anywhere from $20 to $50, and probably closer to the 20 mark than the 50 mark. And he's a Hall of Famer. He's a legend. He's in the Denver Broncos Ring of Honor, and he wore the 44 at Syracuse, which is legendary, if you know the story there. So he's also on my list. Joe Montana, he's there's no problem with Joe Montana, but the thing is, with all the Tom Brady GOAT talk, right? Joe Montana's kind of went to the back of the bus. We don't talk about or think about Joe Montana the same way. Now with Brady winning another ring in Tampa, Joe Montana's kind of taken more of a back seat. But when you look, nothing's changed. He didn't throw another interception. And I can make an argument that, Joe Montana still might be a better player. And, and that's a debate for another show. But his stuff is relatively cheap as well. For, before Brady come along, no argument that he was the greatest quarterback in NFL history. And you could still get decent graded copies of his rookie for a decent price. Now, it's not a short print. There's plenty of them, but it's a great iconic card, kind of him in a throwing motion with the ball. And, it's definitely, for a football fan or collector, probably something that should be in your collection. And even his autos, here's another guy. His autos are very affordable. Many cases under 3 digits, under $100 you can get a Joe Legend auto. Another guy, another running back, not a Hall of Famer. I don't know if he'll ever will be, but even the fact that he's not a Hall of Famer, when people speak of him, he's spoken in that air. And his career was cut short by injuries. Two-sport player, Bo Jackson. I mean, Bo Jackson rookies, especially on the football side, very cheap. And, we can argue, he probably made more of a name for himself in football, although he had a pretty good, albeit short, baseball career. But Bo Jackson rookies and stuff like that are very affordable. However, his autos are not very affordable. They bring a pretty good coin. I believe that's because he's not a prolific signer, just in public terms. So if you want an auto, it's going to cost you, but the rookies are still very affordable. I think the reason being is a lot of people shy away from him because they don't feel like he's ever going to get in the Hall of Fame and get that bump from that. But still a legend of the game. When we talk to sports athletes, you got to, Bo Jackson, you got to talk about Deion Sanders. And Deion Sanders, again, still very affordable. He's sort of not looked at in the same light as Bo Jackson. He doesn't have all those plays that you remember that stick out like Bo does, where scored a touchdown, run into the tunnel. Many people criticize Deion and say he was scared to tackle people. Great interception guy, or defend the pass, but didn't want to really get in there and hit. And so I think that's hurt sort of his image, but still, very, very affordable if you like Deion Sanders and the legend of Deion. Still very much in the public eye, doing commentating, now coaching at Jackson State. And he's going to be one of those guys until he's no longer with us. You're going to see Deion, whether it be on TV, commercials, TV shows, being an analyst. He's not going away. He's keeping himself out in front of the camera. Some more guys. Let's go into a little bit of the receiver category. Randy Moss. Randy Moss, arguably, I know we all consider Jerry Rice the GOAT when it comes to receivers. Randy Moss is right there. And a lot of his stuff, especially on the rookie side, not where I think it honestly should be. And I think it's going to be one of those things later on, when people really, really analyze and look and even see what some of these modern day players, when their careers are done, where Randy Moss still matches up and falls into those categories. I think you're going to see an increase. But now's a good time to buy. Another guy seems to be a pattern with the Lions. Another guy with a shorter career that retired early, maybe to stay healthy and just got tired of losing, just got into the Hall of Fame, so I'm sure his cards have taken a little bit of a bump due to the recent Hall of Fame election, but still, another guy severely undervalued, Calvin Johnson. And, you can get a lot of his rookies at a great price. Megatron, just a human highlight reel. And, again, another guy, he does get credit, I don't want to make it sound, but card-wise, still, to me, very, very undervalued. Another receiver, again, a little bit of a homer pick, being the Syracuse guy, Marvin Harrison, Hall of Famer, did it very quietly. When you think Peyton Manning, that was his guy. And put up, look up, you think I'm kidding, look up Marvin Harrison's receiving numbers. I think you'll be probably, unless you're really a huge football knowledgeable person, you're going to be surprised by the numbers that Marvin Harrison put up. Check him out. Going back to quarterbacks again, we talked about Montana. Going a little newer, even though they're not newer in terms of they've been retired a while. Both Hall of Famers, obviously. Dan Marino and John Elway. Dan Marino stuff, again, very affordable. I think never winning a Super Bowl and only playing in one in his rookie year and losing it and never getting back again has really sort of hurt him. And, it's a great opportunity to get rookies and early cards of him at a great price level. John Elway, who has a couple Super Bowls, but, I know it's kind of weird to say, but, it's not had success in the GM role in Denver as he did on the field. And that sort of tarnished his image. I've read a lot of articles where people want him fired or saying he would be fired if his name wasn't John Elway. And so sort of the post-career has sort of tarnished a little bit. I don't know why, but a little bit of what he did on the field. And again, his rookies from that 84 set with Marino, still very obtainable, and even in graded form. And so these are just some. Another guy, real quick in close, I want to throw him in. Wasn't on my list. I just remembered him because it's a guy lately I've been making a lot of purchases of personally. Again, another quarterback. He's going in the Hall this year as well. Peyton Manning. Again, played in the shadow of Tom Brady. Always was sort of compared to Tom Brady. Well, he's a great quarterback, but he doesn't win the big games. And he won 2 Super Bowls. One with the Colts, one towards the end with Denver, and so he's got 2. But everyone is the litmus test for him is to hold you up against the players you played during your era, and they hold him up against Brady, and he can't. 2 Super Bowls to 7, and so Brady's going to be put ahead of him. But when you talk about pure quarterback skills and mind of the game, Peyton Manning, if he wanted to get into coaching, I believe could be type of a Belichick type coach, I believe. And I don't know if he's going to eventually go that route or is happy, just watching and doing some funny commercials. But Peyton Manning's rookies are, to me, I know some of them are pricey, depending on the premium stuff, some of the XPX and the high-end stuff. But, one of my favorite cards, period, not just football, is his 98 Stadium Club rookie card. I try to buy those up at any opportunity I can. I think aesthetically, it's a real beautiful card. It's his rookie. And again, I think it's undervalued for what it is. And so Peyton Manning still gives you some opportunities to get some, affordable rookie cards of a legend. I mean, arguably, if we're not counting Super Bowl wins, arguably one of the greatest quarterbacks to ever play the game. So I hope that gave you a few ideas or pointers. I when I do these, I don't want to get into specific cards too much. I just want to talk about players that might give you opportunities to get some great deals. And whether that's you're keeping them for the long haul, or I want to buy it today and sell it next year, I think there's some opportunities with some of these guys. I think the football market hasn't seen the same bump that the other markets have. I think that potential's still there. So there you go. I appreciate you listening. Stay safe, stay well. We'll see you next time on Hobby Quick Hits. Hey folks, thanks for listening to the show. Wanted to give out our social media links where you can follow the show even when you're not listening to it. On Twitter, we are at Hits Hobby, HitsHobby, HITSHOBBY. On Instagram, we are at Hobby Quick Hits Podcast, at Hobby Quick Hits Podcast, all one word. Our website is www.sportscardnation.net. Look for the link to Hobby Quick Hits. You'll find us there. And you can always text us on our text line, area code 315-491-0239.